Hey there, welcome. Thanks for joining me. If this is your first time to my channel, my name is Violet, and today I'm going to be sharing with you how to make these two pretty easy but beautiful home decors for your kitchen or even outdoor decor as well. So what you're going to need first is one of these plastic outdoor fences, and what you're going to do is score it and cut it in half. Now, as you can see, what I did, once I cut it in half, I cut off this bottom hook that basically you put down to the ground. Don't do that. Just leave it on there and cut off one of those sections of your fence from that area. But don't completely cut it off like I did, because all I had to do was glue it back on to that one piece of fence. So just go ahead and remember to leave that part on there. Now what you're going to do is remove that hook from the side of your fence. And then you're going to stack both fences together, one on top of the other basically. And then you're going to use some E6000 and your hot glue gun and attach both of your fences together. And just adjust them and make sure that they are where you want them. For me, I just wanted the top of one fence to be right at the bottom of the second part of my fence. And here I'm just adding a little bit more hot glue, making sure everything is nice and secure and in place. Allow this to dry for a few minutes, and then you can move on to your next part. What you're going to need next are some zip ties. If you have those longer zip ties, go ahead and use one of the longer ones. And what we're going to do is attach these miniature or small ceramic pots to my fence. And I didn't have any of the longer zip ties, so all I did was attach two zip ties together. Then you're just going to attach it to one of the arches of your fence. And I used 4 small pots for this project. Depending on how many pots you want to use is how many packs you'll have to purchase. These pots are the ones that come 3 in a pack. So basically I had to purchase 2 packs, but I did have 2 extra. So just go ahead and make sure you adjust everything, and don't tie it completely tight, those zip ties, because you want to be able to adjust them and fix them and make sure they're all nice and straight before you cut them off, and won't be able to tighten them up anymore. And the reason why I didn't tighten them up completely also is because while you're adjusting and adding your pots to your fence, it's kind of hard and it moves around, so you want to make sure that your pots stay in place. So I'd rather just go ahead and attach them nice and tight, but not too tight, until I had all 4 of them onto my fence. And then I went ahead and tightened everything and adjusted and added a little bit of glue to the back of each one of my ceramic pots in order to make sure that they stayed in place. So just like I said, I had to attach 2 zip ties to my pots, just because I didn't have any of the longer zip ties. And I use this, I added some stands in order for me to put this on a shelf. But if you wanted to do this project and not put it on a shelf, feel free to just add a hook, and you can add this to any wall, and it would be really pretty as well. And you can add as many fences parts if you like. See, if I use just one fence for this project, say you wanted a larger one, you can glue them side by side, or just make one long valance, which would be beautiful as well, say for a hallway or right by a door, and have little pots of air plants or succulents in it. It would be absolutely gorgeous. So let me know in the comments below, how are you going to do yours? Are you going to hang it just like this, or are you going to add some stands like I did? So what I'm doing is I'm using these metal bookshelves that you can get at Dollar Tree, and all I did was attach them to the back of my fence valance in order for me to use it as a stand decor. And I added them to my decor with zip ties as well. And I just kind of ran my zip ties through the openings of the bookshelves themselves, or book stands. So just go ahead and add your zip ties, and as you can see, I'm not tightening them up yet because I want to be able to adjust them and make sure they're in place where I want them before I tighten everything up. I only used one fence for my project because that's all I had in my stockpile from last year. But I really absolutely love this decor, so I'm on the hunt to look for some more because I do want to make it as a wall hanging as well. So yeah, I'm trying to find some more, but like I said, let me know in the comments below how you're going to use yours, and if you make one to hang on the wall, tag me on Instagram so I can see how yours looks, because I'm so wanting to make one to hang on my wall with a few of the fences. So as you can see, once I finished my stand, the pots were a little bit heavier than what I thought it would be. So in order for it to stay in place, I got some wooden dowels and slid them through my zip ties. And then I adjusted them and made sure that they were nice and in place right in the center in order to help support my pots once I add a little bit of dirt or what have you. And I know it's not going to tilt or bend that fence backwards. So just go ahead and add some dowels. If you want to add thicker ones or thinner ones, it's completely up to you. I did add some of the thicker ones, not the skewer sticks, but the thicker wooden dowels that you can purchase. I believe they're like 8 inches in length. So just go ahead and attach them to the back and you're good to go. So for our second project, what I did was use one of these windmill welcome signs. I believe they're like a wood chime. I'm sorry, a wind chime. And all I did was remove that bottom part that says welcome to my windmill, because for this project all I'm going to use is my windmill. As I've told you in my previous tutorial, I am getting my kitchen redone. My husband's actually almost completely done redoing everything, so I'm super excited to be able to share it with you soon. And what I'm doing is basically making decorations for my kitchen. So all these projects that I've been doing this past month are basically for my kitchen. I can't wait to show you the final look of how everything's going to look on my walls and how I used it to decorate my kitchen. So stay tuned for that tutorial and decorate with me type of video that I'm going to make. So when you're done removing that bottom welcome part to your sign, go ahead and use some pliers and cut around the ring of your windmill, and then use some good scissors to cut that middle part in order to make 2 parts of your windmill. So just basically cut it in half. And now what I'm going to get is some Jenga blocks. Now I'm still using a box of Jenga blocks that I got at the thrift store. So these are the regular size Jenga blocks, but if you're going to use the blocks, building blocks from Dollar Tree, go ahead and use 3 of them in order to make the right length for your windmill. Once you've added wood glue and attached 2 of those Jenga blocks together and allow them to dry, go ahead and use some permanent glue and add a little bit of hot glue to the ends of your windmill in order to attach them to your blocks. And just attach it to your blocks kind of in the center or towards the back of them. Hold them for a few minutes or a few seconds just to allow it to dry a little bit in order for you to set it aside and allow it to completely dry. Then you're going to do the same thing to your second part of your windmill, adding a little bit of E6000 in the center, and then I added some hot glue to the ends of my windmill part and attached it to my wood. This was such a super easy project, but I love the way it looks. It's just one of those cute, adorable decors that you can add to any bookshelf or stand in any room. Like I said, I'm using mine in my kitchen, but it's one of those small enough but not too small decors that you can add to make kind of like a set decor area. You know, sometimes you try to add 2 to 3 little decors in one little area. This is a perfect for one of those kinds of setups. So what I did was that circle that came with my windmill, I simply just cut it in half and glued it to the front of my windmills in order for it to kind of fill in and make it look more complete in the front of my windmill. And there you have it. Now you can leave them like this, just painting the Jenga blocks any color you like. But I'm going to go a step further. What I did was I painted mine the color celery from Waverly chalk paint. Then I just gave it one good coat. I didn't give it a second coat. I didn't feel like I needed to. But feel free to give it as many coats as you think you need of the paint you're going to use. Then I set them aside and allowed them to dry. Next, I got one strand of raffia and just made a simple bow. Set that aside, and I grabbed some greenery. Now these are just little parts of greenery that I had set aside. Just grab any kind of greenery, succulents, or even some flowers if you like. And all I did was add a dab of glue to the center of my windmill, and then I started attaching all the greenery to that dot of glue that I added to the center. And just add as much as you like or as little. I didn't add too much, but I did want to add a little bit of greenery. Then what I did was grab my bow and just adjusted it to make sure that it was the right size I wanted for my decor. Then I added that raffia bow to one of my windmill center parts, and I used some hot glue with that. And as you can see, the strings of my raffia bow are pretty thick, so what I did was just separate them and kind of like shred that piece of tail of my bow. And I did that to both parts. Now my raffia bow was kind of long, so after I did pull it all apart, what I did was just kind of adjust it and figure out where I wanted those pieces of raffia to be, and then I just trimmed off that extra raffia rope from my bow. You can leave it as is if you like, if that's the kind of style you're going for, but like I said, all I did was just use my scissors and cut off any extra raffia that I did not want on my windmill decor. And that extra raffia that I did cut off, all I did was add a little bit of hot glue and kind of put it in the center just to fill in my windmill decor. And there you have it, an adorable windmill decor. So which one is your favorite? Are you going to make both? Or are you just going to make one? Let me know in the comments below. So I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Until next time, you guys stay safe and stay blessed. Bye.